Welcome back to the channel. This is Gillis TV here, right on Clemhawks, and today we are going to talk about that 7-0 win by the Phillies. And before we get started there, make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button. And if you want more stuff, subscribe to my channel, Gillis TV, as well. Now, let's get into this. Last night, the Philadelphia Phillies came out, homered a lot, came out, won a 7-0 game, and there was some discussion of whether or not Lance McCullers was tipping pitches. A lot of evidence showed after in the post game showed that he was tipping his pitches. When it was a fastball, his knee was a bit more in. When it was off speed pitch, his knee was a bit more out. And the Philadelphia Phillies caught on to that. And I think before Alec Bohm hit his home run, he had a conversation with Bryce Harper. And right next pitch, it happened. So I think the Philadelphia Phillies actually picked up on that last night, and it was a good win. It's a good way to, hey, this is how we know he's throwing this. Watch out for it. Watch his knee. But anyway, that's besides the fact that was a great game three by the Phillies. Astros, on the other hand, need to come out. They've scored all their runs in a matter of, I think it was 5 innings within the first two games. So having that 19 innings because of the extra inning and only scoring five, and then coming and getting shut out last night, they've scored in 5 out of a possible 28 innings, which isn't good enough. As you look at the Phillies, on the other hand, they came out and scored in more innings than not. So, one of the things that needs to happen is the Phillies need to keep doing what they're doing, shutting down Yordan Alvarez. Alec Bregman's having an okay series, not the series he probably wants, and Jose Altuve's not having the postseason he wants. But before we get into the game preview of Game 4 here, the starters. There was history made last night by the Philadelphia Phillies, and this is from the Athletic MLB itself. Never in the history of the World Series has 5 of the first 20 hitters homered for any team, let alone off the same pitcher, let alone on a night where their team hit more than twice as many homers as singles, but the Phillies did it last night. Now think about that. More homers than more than twice the singles. That is insane. They went and played the long ball last night. And yes, the tipping of pitches could have had something to do with it. And I think they picked it up quite early when Bryce Harper hit that home run. He knew what was up. Now, like I said, we had the post game live stream on the channel last night. Come by tonight. We will do the 8th, ninth, and post game again. But now it's a matter of, for the Phillies, do we want to win now? And that is the way they're going today, as it has been, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but according to Sportsnet up here in Canada, Aaron Nola is getting the start for the Philadelphia Phillies, and Cristian Javier is getting the start for the Houston Astros, and this is a bold move by the Phillies. Don't get me wrong, it might sound that I'm biased towards the Phillies. I'm a Toronto Blue Jays fan, first and foremost. I just don't want the Astros to win, so I am favoring the Phillies a bit. But when it comes to this matchup, if somehow the Phillies lose tonight, there is going to be a pitching problem for the Phillies because they're going aggressive to win this at home, sweep the 3 games at home, and go and win the World Series at home. If you don't win tonight, tomorrow you got Justin Verlander. There's no doubt in my mind Verlander's pitching tomorrow. Okay, you got Zach Wheeler. You win that game. Who's going to be your game 5 starter? Do you go back to Suarez after a couple games rest and a day rest? I don't know about that. Do you maybe do a bullpen day for game 5? It is hard to tell if they don't win, and they got to come out and win. So, like I said, they've done a pretty good job on keeping Jordan Alvarez to the minimal in this series. Of course, he's going to get a hit, he's going to get a walk, but the damage has been really minimal. On the other hand, you got Jose Altuve, who, in the last two games has picked, or game two, he did pick up a bit of traction. Not so much again last night, but you have to keep Altuve to that struggling thing. It's probably getting to him. You got to keep Bregman hitting the ball in the park, and Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker can hit home runs. We've seen it in game one where he hit that solo moonshot, and then he hit that 3-run home run, which ultimately gave the Astros the 5-0 lead, but then, of course, they choked and whatnot. And JT Realmuto did it for the Phillies and scored. But what you need to do in this game four, if you're the Phillies, keep doing what you're doing. Keep to your game plan. If you're the Houston Astros, you got to change something up. If it's, the batting order, taking the first two pitches. The Philadelphia Phillies are doing a pretty good job on making the count go up for the pitches. Take your time. You see a fastball down the middle, yeah, swing at it. But if you see something that might be a strike, might be a ball, lay off of it until you have two strikes where you need to protect. You don't need to swing at everything. And right now, I feel that's what at least Jose Altuve is doing. After watching game one, where he was chasing balls outside the strike zone, even Bregman's a really good two-strike hitter. He was chasing outside the strike zone. Get out of that. Get out of your head and just capitalize on your game plan. You do what you do best. Jordan Alvarez, he's looking for that home run pitch. I don't think he's going to get a home run pitch at all this World Series. It could come once in a while, but having him settle down, he needs to change his approach. Don't go for the home runs. Go for the small ball. Get on base. You start getting on base, and if you could score a run every 2 innings, you have a pretty good chance of winning the game, especially if your pitchers come to play. Now, like I said, Cristian Javier and Aaron Nola are slated to start today. Both 11 wins. Javier went 11-9, Nola 11-13. Javier had a 2.54 ERA, and Nola had a 3.25. It's going to be a pitching matchup, but the Astros did get to Nola in game one, ultimately still losing that game. If they could get to Nola again, they have a good chance. And like I said, they need to win this game, as the Astros need to win this game. For the Phillies, it's a must-win game as well, because you're throwing all your eggs in the basket, hoping Nola can get you a 3-1 series lead, and then you have Wheeler, more than likely, Wheeler versus Verlander tomorrow to close out the series. If they lose today, there's going to be a lot of pitching problems for the Philadelphia Phillies, because is Aaron Nola going to be able to go Game 7 if this series does go Game 7? Does Suarez, can he play Game 5? Is there enough time between starts for him to actually go out and play Game 5? Now, let's get away from the starting pitchers for a bit, and you know what? I'm going to praise the Philadelphia Phillies bullpen. They are playing phenomenal this World Series. They are outbeating the Houston Astros, and if they win the World Series, that bullpen is going to be the main reason why the Phillies win. It's not going to be about the offense. That Phillies bullpen is solid, and the coaching staff is doing a really good job. If you guys tuned into our stream last night, Clem Hawks and I and Dolany TV, we talked about how they were doing their pitchers. And Nelson was pitching in the 8th, and Dominguez was up. And we're like, you're up 7-0. Just let Nelson pitch. Yes, he's at 30 pitches. Just let him go another inning. If you win 7-6, it's still a win in the World Series. Well, Then top of the ninth comes up, and Blatty's in pitching. Well, first of all, Dominguez was the one warming up, but that's not the point here. The point is the Philadelphia Phillies management is doing a really good job on keeping the guys fresh, keeping them playing. Some haven't pitched at all this series. If they did, it was in game one. So now in game four, you're probably going to see an inning just to keep you fresh and going. And they're doing a phenomenal job. Yeah, they're using a lot of pitchers, but they're keeping the pitch total down under, for the most part, under 22 pitches an inning. That is huge. If you push someone more to 2 innings, then they're probably not available next game. Like I said, the Philadelphia Phillies are throwing all their eggs in one basket to try and win this at home. And that crowd last night was insane. I love to see playoff baseball in the crowds. I was lucky enough to witness the bat flip of Jose Bautista back in 2015, 2016, and that crowd erupted. I like how the atmosphere is for the Philadelphia Phillies right now. And is it a Cinderella story? They just sneak into the playoffs as a wild card team, and they're in the World Series. They have not given up. And on stream last night too, I brought up the fact that where would the Philadelphia Phillies be without Kyle Schwarber? Kyle Schwarber has been a great addition. There were rumors before the season even started. The Toronto Blue Jays were interested. The Red Sox, the Yankees, someone in the AL East, the Dodgers were interested. And he said, no, I'm going to the Phillies. And what a turnout it has been for Kyle Schwarber as a Philadelphia Philly. But that's where I'm going to leave you off. Game time is 8 o'clock Eastern, or 8:07 is first pitch Eastern. We will have it on the channel here, a live stream and a post game, 8th and ninth inning, maybe 7th as well. We'll see how it goes. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is Gillis TV here right on Clemox, and I'll catch you on the next one.